what's going on, everybody? It's your host, CK Payne here, the Bobby Turtle Podcast. Cade isn't here just yet, but he's going to be here in a minute. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, and we'll have him introduce himself here in just a second. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Bobby Turtle Podcast. So joining us now is country singer Addison Johnson. Addison, it's great to have you on the show, man.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me, man. Happy to be here. I know it's virtually, but It's good to finally get to talk to you in person.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. So originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. Grew up there, kind of a little bit all over North Carolina, and moved down to Nashville when I was 20 years old. Been here for 10 years now, and probably started out working every little odd end job you could think of when I moved to town. Probably had $10 in my pocket, and went to MTSU for about a year and a half. Majored in beer and girls. Got out of majoring in beer and girls, and decided that I'd pretty much already got my education that I needed to go and pursue music. And for the last 4 years, we've been touring full time, getting ready to come out with my first ever full record. And we've already put out 2 EPs, I'm Just a Song and Cherokee Blues. And this the new record coming up on February 26th, Dark Side of the Mountain, will be the first full one.
We're for sure looking forward to that one, I could tell you that much. So what first got you started into music?
And I don't know, I think it was just something I've always been extremely interested in and passionate about. My grandparents always had the record player going and tapes going, CDs going. And, that's where I really kind of found my love for all of music, but really, my grandmother loved George Jones, and he's probably one of my biggest heroes. And so that's probably what got the wheels spinning. But man, they said, like, I've been singing since I was probably 4 years old. And I didn't probably get really serious about it until, I was probably around 16. And so started writing songs around then and trying to pick up a little guitar and stuff. And so that was kind of what got me started anyways.
Right. So who influences or influenced your music?
Yeah, I would say, definitely Jones, obviously. And, there's just been so many. And I feel like the older I get, the more influences I get, whether it's from, Ray Charles to, to blues guys. It's a lot of times it's not even country. But when we talk about country guys like Lefty Frizzell and Waylon and Merle, Willie, all those guys are great. I think you can always learn something from them. But right. Even Porter Wagner, Farron Young, got pioneers of the business, or people. The great storytellers are usually the people that I connect to the most. People like Christopherson and Willie and guys like that.
So if you weren't into music, what would you be doing today?
Probably fishing. Probably I would probably look for, something. I kind of already work in the fishing industry a little bit as kind of, if there is such thing as a side hustle, in the business. That's, I work with a bunch of great partners and companies that support my music as well as support me out on the water, and so that's been a lot of fun to do. But yeah, man, I come from a fishing family. My uncles and my grandfather both were extremely talented bass fishermen. Pretty much ran the state of North Carolina for a while. They would show up to the ramp and people would just go home. Like they would just like, I'm not donating my money to you today. And so learned a lot from them. And, it's an extremely big passion of mine even today. It's probably, it's something that's important. I treat it like a business. but even now, but it's still something I do just to go relax and have a good time.
Yeah. So where all have you performed at?
You name it, man. I feel like we've been there. I haven't been to the West Coast as much as I, would like to. I've only, but played Texas a ton. The Midwest is probably our biggest stops. Whether it's Indiana or Illinois, Missouri, Ohio. And then of course we play the Southeast quite a bit. And, but probably some of my favorite trips and favorite moments on tour have happened up in New England and Boston and Pittsburgh. And, I like playing up north too. So been kind of a little bit of everywhere, man. It's been interesting trying to navigate it in these times, especially, but it's, there's probably nothing more than I love than just being on the road, getting to have experiences in different places. I think is probably one of the biggest perks to this business, and probably one of the most fun things anyways.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite venue to play at?
Oh man. I don't know. I got a lot of them. The place where they cheer the loudest is usually my favorite. But I've got to play some really cool places. Anything with history to it, anything that's been there for a long time, or that, that other great artists have played at, I really gravitate. I'm a huge vintage history buff. Like I like vintage, whether it's clothes or music or anything that's got a little history to it. I want to be a part of that. I want to play there. So I would say, there's probably been 6 or 7 kind of like that I've got to do that have been a lot of fun.
So what's your favorite song to play live?
Oh man. It probably changes by the week. I love to play originals because I feel like it's it's super personal. You're putting yourself out there to be ridiculed, for better or worse, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But it really just, whatever I'm digging that week, man. I like to, in my sets especially, I like to pick really obscure stuff. And obscure might not be the right word for it, but like, those B-side tracks, the tracks that but they don't just play all the time.
Yeah.
That ones that you might associate with a memory or something like that. And you're sitting there and you're expecting, this dude's probably going to play Friends in Low Places or something, and then I break out Bartender's Blues by George Jones or something and hit you, or like, some back album Hank stuff that you haven't heard in a long time. Trying to catch you by surprise is probably my favorite thing to do with something like that. So anytime I get to try a new one out on the road like that, that's probably my favorite song to play that week.
So how do you go about writing a song?
Yeah. I think that probably like 15 different answers to this, depending on kind of what we're doing. There's a few guys that I will co-write with. Alex Williams, Rod Davis, just extremely, Mitch Russell, extremely talented people. Sometimes, we'll get together and sit down and write one. And sometimes, man, I'll write them while I'm driving. Some of my best songs have come on just road trips and me driving down the road. And, it's a 5-hour drive. And by the time I wake up from thinking about this song, I've made it the entire trip. And sometimes it's melody first, sometimes it's lyric first. It's kind of just a mash. It's always sporadic, man. That's the thing, is like I had such a hard time when I first moved to Nashville of sitting in writers' rooms on Music Row, and we got 3 guys in there. We're going to sit down and we're going to write a song today. And everybody's so talented, man. We can do that. But we can come up with a song and it be a pretty good one. but the best songs that I've ever written have been always sporadic, like it just came out of nowhere. And even co-writes and stuff, it was just like, oh, we didn't have an idea. We just thought about this for a second and we came up with it right there on the spot. And that was, and those have been kind of the best songs anyways.
So about my favorite song from you, did Rollin' Stolen come off a road trip? Where did you write that one at?
Rollin' Stolen. So my good buddy is a police officer, and he was telling me we were actually on a fishing trip down in Alabama, down at Logan Martin, and he was telling me some old police stories or whatever, and he brought up the Rollin' Stolen list that they used to have in Nashville, and basically it was any locally stolen car. And if you were able to catch one of those guys that stole one of those cars, you got like a free day off. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. That's, and I kind of left it at that and went to bed that night, woke up the next morning and just could not get the phrase "Rollin' Stolen" out of my head. Just couldn't get it out of my head. And, that's really a combination. That song's a combination of like some of my favorite things. Like I just love to watch, period. Whether it's the, like the Cocaine Cowboy documentaries or The Godfather or, American Made, any kind of like mafia based drug smuggling movie out there. I was just like, man, there's not a ton of country songs out there like that. They asked me when I was doing radio for the song, they were like, tell us a little about this song. And I'm like, well, a guy steals a Chevelle to sell fake drugs to the Italian mafia down in New Orleans. And they're like, do what? I
love the storyline and the plot twist of it,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, try to leave it there at the end,
Yeah, for sure. So let's get in the album. How long did you work on it for?
Yeah, so this album was pretty much, 2 years of work all together. And, it was kind of one of those things where I felt like we were probably ready to go in 2020 and at the beginning of 2020, and everything started happening. And so we kind of pumped the brakes on it, and I started writing again, and I started beating songs that I'd already recorded that I thought. And so we started taking songs off the record and started putting more songs on the record. So this process ran all the way through 2020 of just, trying to figure out what we thought, not only the best songs, but what fit on this record the best. And so, all in all, 2 years and a lot of work, a lot of, we tried a bunch of different things this time. We brought new pieces in. I brought Luke DeJanes in. David Flint mixes all my records. He's worked with a lot of greats, and Luke DeJanes did our mixing and mastering, and I felt like he added a level to the record. So we were able, with, as bad as 2020 was, we were able to try a bunch of different stuff, and I think kind of bring maybe a unique factor that we have in the record now that we might have not had if we would release at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah. So how many songs are on this album?
Yeah. So like I said a little earlier, this is my first full record. And so this will have 10 songs on it. Awesome. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's kind of a dying breed, man, to release albums these days. All the big boys and stuff still do it, but for the most part, a lot of independent artists are just, playing the streaming game and putting out a single at a time. And then maybe when they have enough singles, they'll put it all together and release a record. I like kind of doing a little mixed bag of that where, we're going to release 3 singles and then we'll release a record. And I'm kind of keep a little bit of the traditional aspect there.
Right. So which currently unreleased song is your favorite on this album, and which one should we look forward to? I'm looking forward to the whole thing, but is there a certain song you have that you haven't released yet? That's a big one.
Yeah, I would say probably, I would probably say Blue Eyes Red.
Okay.
It's going to be a song that I think people are going to like. I hope they'll like. But it was funny. I started playing the song out, and it's kind of a personal song of just some of the struggles that I've had and stuff. I don't try to hide anything. I try to be real 100% of the time, especially with fans. I mean, this is music, man. There's not a lot to hide. Either
Right.
I'm going to say it, or they're going to find it out on the record. And I was really surprised at the reaction of the song. I think it just through the live streams and stuff playing it this year, it seemed like people really kind of gravitated to it. And I don't know if it's a melody thing or they really engage in the content, but we went crazy, man. We produced that thing like it's a 1980s Ronnie Millsap song, and it just came out really weird and super cool. And so I'm really excited to kind of see what everybody thinks of that. It's going to be the kind of unofficial fourth single off the record.
Okay. So where did you record this album at?
Yeah, so recorded here in Nashville with David Flint, and I've worked with David now for 10 years. Ever since I moved to town, me and him have worked together, and I think we've both gotten better together. It's been kind of a team effort, team process. He knows what I like out of a record, and he knows what to kind of bring to me, maybe to challenge me. And I'll bring stuff to kind of challenge him as well. So that's been a really good partnership. He also produced Cherokee Blues, and I'm just a song as well. So
Okay.
yeah, looking forward to having a third record out with him for sure.
So how would you describe this new album, Dark Side of the Mountain?
Man, yeah, I mean it's kind of a dark album. I mean it's kind of in the title, I mean if you like story songs, if you like good stuff to kind of drink a beer to and hang out, and it's not beer truck girl mixed with Flavor Flav. I mean this is kind of a thinking album in some places, and then some places it's it's just a fun song. But I really try to I really try to tell stories in everything that I do, because that's just what I love. And I know some people can kind of take it or leave it, and some people don't want to think all the time. But I think it's that there are no love songs on the record. Zero. This is my third record with zero love songs. Somebody asked me why I do that. I said, I mean, have you listened to country radio? I think we got enough love songs out there. So we try to focus on some other things.
Yeah, no joke. So do you have any upcoming shows?
Yeah, so we're currently working on the schedule right now. We've just booked dates for Indianapolis, as well as some in Ohio, and then some just about an hour or hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Tennessee. And still putting it together right now. It's very everybody's very raw, trying to figure out what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. The venues, I really feel for them, because they're trying to figure out, how many people they can have and can they book and stuff like that. It's kind of a messy time, but we're trying to navigate through that. And I think we've got probably 35 or so dates up right now. Hopefully we'll end the year, if we could get around 150, that would be a pretty solid year for us. So,
are you doing another live stream show anytime soon?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't have one absolutely set and nailed down, but as we get closer to that February 26th date, we're certainly going to do some more live stream stuff, and we'll probably do a live stream on, if not on February 26th, right around that time, to kind of do, an unofficial album release party since everybody can't really get together right now and celebrate all the work that everybody's done. Because man, to be honest with you, I really look at this as a team effort. The fans, friends, family, the guys that play on the music, the people like you that give me the opportunity to help promote it. It's all a team effort. If one part of that was missing, the record wouldn't be what it could be. So definitely want to kind of do something live stream wise to help celebrate all that.
Right. So February 26th is right around the corner. Where can we find this album at?
Yeah, man. So right now we are trying to get as many people as we can to go and pre-order this thing. As an independent artist, pre-orders help us a lot. It gives us a better chance to chart. And so you can find this right now on iTunes, in the iTunes store. And just type in my name, it'll pop right up. Apple might try to send you to Apple Music, but if you just hang around in the iTunes store, it'll pop right up for you. We also have a pre-order going on and on Amazon as well. And then on February 26th, it will be available everywhere on all streaming platforms as well as Google Play.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man, for joining us today. We enjoyed having you on the show, and we're certainly looking forward to that album.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. I want to talk to my guys and gals at Fish. Do you feel like you're always having to buy a new rod and reel because they break or they just don't feel right for you? If you want to get the last rod and reel you'll ever buy, you have to go check out Enigma Fishing. Enigma is based out of Florida and produces some of the highest quality rods and reels on the market today. Enigma was developed by top tournament anglers that you may hear their names on TV sometime. Outfitted with top-of-the-line components, the Enigma fishing rods feature sleek and ergonomically designed handles and blank-through reel seats that create a seamless connection between angler and rod, bolstering sensitivity and ergonomics, great prices, and a sweet lifetime replacement warranty. To buy a rod or reel for freshwater or saltwater fishing, visit enigmafishing.com. My personal favorite is the Epon rod with an Epon reel. Enigma is the only brand that I ever fish with. You just can't go wrong with them. Again, the website is enigmafishing.com. Be sure you go check them out and make a purchase. I promise you will not regret it. All right, welcome back. This is the Bobby Turtle Podcast. Let's get right into sports. Getting pretty close to time to raise the Lombardi Trophy, right, Cade?
Won't be Drew Brees.
All right, first up for sports, we'll go with Saturday's NFL schedule. The NFL divisional round began with the Packers stomping the Rams 32-18, punching their ticket to the NFC title game.
Yeah, Jared Goff sucks, and Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. So
I certainly disagree because Drew Brees might have one more year left.
Is washed up and retiring, and should.
I think he needs to retire. I mean, I'm so sad to say that, and it's really.
He's been missing throws. Has he not been missing throws?
He has been missing throws, but he's had a great career, and you can't disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
He's the best quarterback to ever live.
Yeah.
Yeah, you disagree with that, don't you? Who do you think's the best quarterback to ever live, Cade?
Probably, I like Peyton Manning the best.
Oh my God, whatever. So for the AFC on Saturday night, the Bills showed up big time. They never allowed anything big for the Ravens and finished that game 17-3.
Yeah, the Bills, I think the Bills might win the Super Bowl. They're hot. They're good.
Yeah, you like the Bills? You like Josh Allen?
Yeah, I like Josh Allen a lot. I've liked him since college when he was at Wyoming. He's just had a great arm, and he's been like I saw a combine video where he was throwing throws like something like 75 or 80-yard throws, and it was just really impressive.
He kind of, sort of reminds me of how Joe Burrow looked in college, but in the NFL version.
I don't know if he's that good, but he's good.
Yeah, but like the way he takes hits or whatever, whenever he's running the ball.
Yeah, he's
he
tough.
Just stands up. Like
he's tough. Yeah, he don't
Joe
care.
Burrow started sliding right before because he got hit so many times thanks to that offensive line. Anyways, for Sunday's schedule, the Chiefs started it up well and won off a fourth down conversion as time expired. Chad Henne did his stuff to keep the Chiefs on track to go back to the AFC Championship after finishing the game 22-17 over the Browns. The only thing in their way is the Bills Mafia.
Yeah, the Browns, props to the Browns. I didn't know they would make it this far. Baker did his thing this year, and the Browns are going to be something to, not be fooled with in years to come.
Yeah, I thought Baker did really well in that playoff game, and Unfortunately for him, they couldn't get that stop on fourth down where the Browns would have had another opportunity to go score a touchdown.
I got the Bills over the Chiefs right now by a touchdown.
Bills over the Chiefs by a touchdown?
Yep.
Is Mahomes going to be back with that concussion, or how does
I don't
that
think
work?
so.
Like for the full game? Or like
I think it's a 2-week protocol.
Really? Even
Yeah.
though it's just a mild concussion?
Yeah.
I thought there was something wrong with his foot on the replays. His foot kind of looked like it got bent. I don't know if you saw what happened or not.
No, I just saw head injury.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope the best for him. I love to watch him play. That kid's great. So, unfortunately, and this one's going to be rough to talk about, Drew Brees may have played his last game in the black and gold Sunday night. Be quiet. It's an emotional moment for me. Oh, man.
Dude, Matt Ryan is better than Drew Brees.
No, he's not. The Saints turned the ball over 4 times in that game, and the Bucs capitalized, scoring 21 off the turnovers alone. The Bucs will meet the Packers in the NFC Championship game after a 30-20 win over the Saints.
I got a Bucs-Bills Super Bowl. Go Bucs.
I take the Bucs over the Packers.
Me too.
I don't know if you remember the first time the Bucs and Packers played, but Aaron Rodgers scored that touchdown and did the air thrust thing.
Yeah.
Like in the movie or whatever. What movie was that? Do you remember?
No.
I don't either. Anyways, he did the air thrust thing, and then after that, they went up 10-0. Tom Brady went out 38-10. Final score. Didn't let off the brakes.
Tom Brady's not as washed up as Drew Brees.
I don't know. I don't think Drew Brees is washed up at all. But
dude, you are ignorant.
Okay, I think he has lost his touch slightly.
A lot.
Slightly lost his touch. And like I said, I hate to see him retire, and I hate to see him have to go out the way he did. 3 interceptions. That's terrible.
He's trash.
Did you hear about Michael Thomas, though? Maybe this will lighten your mood up about Drew Brees a little bit.
I didn't.
Michael Thomas has to have 2 surgeries because he played through an injury this season because he wanted to try to get Drew Brees his best opportunity to Super Bowl.
The only thing he can catch the slant, so.
He didn't have any catches Sunday night.
He's trash.
He's not trash. He was injured, and he was hoping the best for his quarterback.
Oh, well.
Man, I'm really upset Drew Brees is retiring. Did you have any respect at all for Drew Brees?
Yeah, low key. He was all right.
All right, like that's where you put him. Where do you put him all time?
Top 10.
Top 10, like where at in the top 10?
10.
Oh my God, I put him top 3, and if he's not number 1, he's number 2. Really close.
Who else would be number 1?
Who else would be number 1? Possibly Tom Brady.
Brady's the GOAT, son.
I don't know. I think Drew Brees is the GOAT, and I have a lot of reasons to back that. Total passing yards. Do you think Brady retires after the season?
No, he's got about 4 left in him.
Oh my God, that's unfortunate. I don't think that's true, though. You really believe Brady's got 4 left in him?
Because he's the GOAT, man. He's going to play it out no matter what. Because he's a competitor, and the Bucs are going to be something, not to be messed with in years to come.
Okay, the same about the Saints, because famous Jameis is about to step up in that role. If we don't get Deshaun Watson, I'm hoping for that, but I have my doubts.
Man, the Raiders are getting Deshaun Watson.
The Raiders aren't getting anything, and they're not getting anywhere other than Las Vegas.
Shut up.
That's their only thing they have going for them is they're in Vegas.
Shut up.
So at least for the city of New Orleans, I still have Zion and the Pelicans to look up to, which is going to be the future GOAT, and he's going to take the NBA by storm.
No, I don't think he's going to be that good.
You sleep on Zion? You're a sleeper?
Yeah, low key.
What makes you say that? Do you have anything to back that up?
He don't really have a 3-point shot.
Okay, but he's probably the best dunker and the most athletic person I've ever seen in my life.
So he's going to end up getting hurt.
Okay, well, he never played a day of football in his life, and I don't know if you remember, but LSU offered him a football scholarship, full ride, just based off a video of him throwing a football.
He's a good athlete.
He's an athlete. Like, he's the GOAT, and there's nothing going to get in his way.
Not the GOAT.
Zion is definitely going to be the best basketball player to ever live, and if he were to go for football, he'd be the best basketball and football player to ever live.
You are
Actually,
lying.
maybe that might be the next guy to take over Drew Brees' spot.
Shut up.
Maybe it's a stunt. Maybe sports
Shut
are meant
up.
to be, and that's how we got Zion in the
Shut
US.
up.
I'm telling you. That's a new conspiracy theory, and I think I might believe it. All right. Anyways, more of the Bobby Turtle Show coming after this short break. If you're a hat and hoodie person like myself, I'm pretty sure I found your new favorite shop. Get online and check out Dryden Apparel at drydenapparelandmedia.com. The hats, shirts, and hoodies look great, and if you ever catch me recording, I'll always have that hat on. And the quality is also unmatched. Plus, Dryden's still running a holiday sale with many of their items at a pretty great price. Check them out on social media at Dryden_media for instant updates on the latest hats, shirts, and hoodies. Dryden Apparel and Media is a brand dedicated to bringing you extremely wild, fun, and comedic content while spreading the true gospel of Jesus Christ. So welcome back to the Bobby Turtle Podcast. Right now, I want to introduce a very special guest. He's my cousin, a very great friend of mine, Luke Wagner. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. Hope we have some good conversations, and hope this turns out to be a good episode. I'm really happy to be here.
For sure, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 17. I'm from Albany. Grew up with Charleston and Cade. They're really close friends of mine, and I play the guitar, and that's really about it.
Okay. How long have you been playing guitar for?
A year now.
All right. Well, the good news is we got a few music questions for you. So a few people have requested that we ask somebody some questions like this, so we figured we'd bring none other than you on. So glad to have you
Absolutely.
again.
Great being
So
here.
let's talk about the era of music then versus now in the rap genre.
Rap genre. So how far back are we taking it?
Where do you want to go? What do you know most about back then? Like the best era back then.
You would
in
have to
your
go
opinion?
90s because late 70s, 80s really wasn't
Yeah,
too
it really
much.
wasn't the best.
Right. 90s, 2000s compared to
90s,
what you hear in
2000s.
2020, 2021.
I don't know. Like I feel like rap changes very frequently. I feel like there's always a change in rap every few years, and probably the biggest thing is like from I would say like the early 2000s, like around 2010 versus 2020. In 2010, you had people like Kanye and Jay-Z and like people like that popping, and those were like the big guys. And now you have like a lot of different artists that sound very different, and they kind of like pick their own styles now. And it's not like so much like the same kind of feeling across the genre. I would say like there's a lot of different like I don't really know how to describe it. Like just people standing outside of the box and like thinking outside of the box and just doing everything they can to be different from other rappers.
Yeah, today's rap is much more. It's a lot different. It's a lot of different artists, a lot of different things going on, opposed to late 80s, 90s, where everybody kind of had the same style.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vibe was the same from then for sure.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
y'all's favorite era of rap?
Probably like 2016.
2016. Great.
I gotta say 2014.
Why
I
you
was,
say that?
like Fetty Wap and all them hopped onto the scene.
Waka Flocka.
I like the Kodak Lil Yachty
Yeah.
train. That was my
Yeah,
favorite.
That was Kate's favorite. We used to listen to Transport like every day.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
God,
great. It's a
yes.
fantastic song.
I'm
And
still a fan of that
Pimpin'
one.
Ain't Easy.
Oh yeah, 'cause pimping ain't easy.
Ain't easy. Somebody got to do it though.
That's
Wagner,
right.
what's your favorite? You said 2016, right?
Yeah, I'd say around 2016. I don't know.
What makes that your favorite?
I feel like there was so much good music going on. Like you had like 21's Prime, and then you had like all kinds of just like newer artists coming in, but you had like these big, like a lot of big rappers like Future and Travis Scott and all them like really just in their prime days.
So 2016 was when 21 dropped his bank account song, right? And that album.
I believe so. It was either that one or Savage Mode 1, but I'm pretty sure it was the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's kind of when he hopped onto the scene.
Yeah.
So
That's when No Heart and
Yeah.
whatever that X with
X.
Future that was when those were dropped.
Yeah.
all right. So what about
Savage
country
Mode
music?
Country music.
Then versus now, the
Then-
era and how it's changed.
Then times 50.
I
I
don't
gotta
know.
say, I'm very glad I was joined earlier by Addison Johnson. He's the one guy that's trying to bring it back to then. Make sure you guys go download or pre-order his album, Dark Side of the Mountain. It comes out February 26th. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Addison.
I feel like there was a lot of really great country artists back then. Like they were all great.
90s country is the best era.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have, like nowadays, it's like there's not as many greats, but I feel like today's greats are way better than the old ones.
Right.
Like I'm picking Cody Jinks and Zach
Oh
Bryan.
my God. Yeah, I love Cody
Absolutely.
Jinks.
Like, oh my gosh, dude, they're amazing. They're killing it.
So who's your favorite on the scene right now for like saving outlaw country type of deal?
Jinx.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jinx.
Big Jinx fan. And have you gotten a chance to check out Addison Johnson's music?
I haven't yet. I looked at
Yeah,
it
be sure.
whenever you, posted
Like I
it.
said, my favorite is Rollin' Stolen. We talked about that a few times in the interview, and it's a heater, man. It tells a good story. I love a song that tells a story, and
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what he's great at.
Absolutely.
And it's so I enjoy listening to his music.
Storytelling is important in music.
Oh, and plot twist is there too. Like in Rollin' Stolen, like the whole bridge portion. That's towards the end, right? The bridge portion of the song is where his plot twist usually come in.
Gotta check that out.
For sure. So, what's your favorite decade of country music, Wagner?
Man, I don't know. It's really hard to tell that, honestly, but like I said, like
90s.
this current decade, not most of the country artists now are bad, but like the ones that are here and that are good and that are actually doing it the right way, I'm picking them over anybody else.
I got you. So what about you, Cade? Your 90s?
90s, Alan Jackson, Joe Diffie.
That's
That
great.
era of music was
Yeah,
the best.
That is great.
Oh, I was a big time Alan Jackson fan. I take
Me too.
Alan Jackson 90s through 2010. His era
Yeah,
of music
absolutely.
was where it was at.
That's great.
And then George Strait was great.
Absolutely.
I personally think he's like slightly overrated.
Oh,
Yeah, me
But
too.
I do love
Yeah.
George Strait though.
Amarillo by Morning though.
It's just like he would be so much better if he wasn't overplayed. It's like Cody Jinks, you know? Like you don't hear a lot
Cody
of Cody
Jinks
Jinks
is-
on the radio every single
Yeah.
day. So it's like when you listen to Cody Jinks' music, you get more of a feel out
He
of it.
does not get the place he deserves, but that does also help keep it real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so about a guy that does get all the plays he deserves. Morgan Wallen just released the Dangerous album, the double album, on January 8th. What were your thoughts on that album? Tell us some of your favorites off of it.
I mean, it was a great album. He had some really good songs on there. I think that was some of his I think his best songs are on that album.
For sure. Yeah,
He killed it.
Yeah, there's not
God,
a bad
like
song on
everything.
the album.
There's some songs that I like less than the others, but I don't hate any of them. I'm still.
I
gonna
wouldn't
play
skip
all
any of them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not skips.
I've listened to the album over and over and over again since
Same.
January the
Yeah.
8th. Like, it's like, I think it's number 2 on my Spotify.
It's stuck in my head.
It's
Like,
number
just
2 on
everywhere.
mine. Also.
It kind of haunts me, to be honest. I want to know who broke his heart.
Yeah, for real.
That's like, it hits close in some spots, you
It
know.
affects all of us.
Wasted on You.
It's a good song.
Whatever made him write that song,
Sand in
man.
my
He's
boots, bro.
he's putting us
Warning
through
for
it with
me.
both of those.
Yeah.
Warning.
And then Silverado for Sale.
They're all
I
good.
got
was a good-
Silverado. I
that
love
was a
that.
good
Like I
one.
just
I
I
love
vibe
that
to
one.
it, you know. Every morning,
It's a
every
back row
evening, it doesn't
banger.
matter. It's always Morgan
Yeah.
Wallen. What do you think about the Heartless album mix?
I like that
album
one. I like that
version.
one better
liked
than the other one.
I liked it better than the other one.
He's done like 5 versions of that so far.
like
what,
3, I think. 3 or 4.
Okay. But yeah, that's insane.
It's
to
a
do that
good
many.
song.
And it's every version I've liked. I haven't
Yeah,
had a
it's-
bad
it's
thing to
all
say
good.
about any of them
Yeah. It's a
from the
great
start,
song.
you know. And I haven't had anything bad to say about Morgan Wallen from the start neither.
No, he's
I think
killing
he's
it.
an incredible, incredible artist.
Yeah, he's
I
doing
love his music.
amazing.
So, okay, what are your top 3 songs off of that album?
Sand in My Boots, Outlaw, and Heartless album mix.
Oh, I totally forgot about Outlaw.
Outlaw
Wagner,
is
what
good.
about you? Let me shoot it across the table.
All right. Well, you're not gonna like my favorite songs. For one, "Warning" is my favorite song off the album.
Okay, I kind of
That
agree
one-
with that. I love Warning.
That
Like,
one's
it's
a
just got
great
the-
song.
Warning is good.
And then obviously, "Living the Dream."
It's good.
Oh my god.
All one of my favorite songs of all time.
I love the way it starts. Just
Yeah.
the beginning. It's just
It's
you
so
just
good.
get into it right
Country
there.
ass shit is a badass
That's
song.
a good one too. And
Yeah.
then only thing that's gone with Chris Stapleton, I loved it.
Yeah,
I
that's a good
really
one.
loved it. Chris Stapleton killed that electric guitar at the end.
For
was
sure.
really good.
I think a little less of Chris Stapleton for other reasons. But anyways, I'll take my top 3 songs of the album. I'll go Wasted on You, Warning, and man, that's just a tough third choice. There's like
So
you could
many
put
good ones.
so many other songs right there. But I'll probably go Sand in My Boots.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Because I just
That is a
love
good
it and
song.
the vibe that one gives you, you know. Anyways, thank you so much, Wagner, for joining us. Big thanks again to Addison Johnson for joining us at the beginning of the episode. Cade, it was great to have you come on at this point. It's always great to have you around.
Yep.
And that does it for the 8th episode of the Bobby Turtle Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't already, follow the socials at Bobby Turtle Pod across the board. That covers Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you guys go like all the posts. Make sure y'all go run it up, share, spread the word for us. And as always, make sure you're sharing and subscribing on the place you get your podcast. Turtle Gang.
Out.